Hey, folks. I hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to just sort of check in regarding some of the trends we've been seeing both in adjudication of EB1A related cases and in the kind of concerns many of you have brought to my attention just over the course of the past couple weeks. I think more than ever, the anxiety that exists around the economic situation and other factors out there has resulted in a lot of people, I think, feeling a little bit vulnerable in terms of their situation, even those who are super high performing, particularly as it relates to a lot of the AI related and automation technology and the consequences of that technology as it relates to employment and potential for layoffs. I had shared a graphic, and I'll pull it up with you all regarding some of the news that occurred just earlier this month, where Tesla announced that they are laying off 16,000 employees in one shot. And many of those could have a very vulnerable immigration situation, even if they've been in the U.S. for such a long time, because when you have an H-1B visa, so one who is from outside the U.S., they come to the U.S. on an employment-based visa, or maybe they're a student and they transition to an employment-based visa. When your job is terminated or you're laid off, you only have 60 days to find another employer, another employment. And that could be a really very stressful situation to find yourself in, because, the hiring process generally takes a while in of itself, right? There's multiple interviews and, situations that need to go forward before you're able to even acquire another position. So that 60 days sometimes is really not enough. And that's why it's always important to take matters into your own hands and not sort of be dependent on your employer for your immigration status. And what we're thinking about now for a lot of our, high talent, major contributors is, how do we get you to a space where an EB1A petition could make sense, where you're coming out of one of these sort of, large scale organizations like a Tesla or Google, for example, who've also announced, hundreds of more workers being laid off as well. And, understanding that when you're going to do a self petition, the work that you've performed, the employer that you perform for, will have an important role to play, particularly as it relates to business and technology related contributors, because a lot of your case is going to depend upon the importance of the business contribution that you have made, and also the role that you perform within the organization. So the way it works is, when we're submitting an argument on behalf of an individual who, for example, works at Google or has worked at Google, the idea is that an organization such as Google has trusted you to undertake a complex contribution, or provide, design, develop a complex contribution that in of itself has resulted in a contribution that is deemed significant by the company, right? It's significant to the company's activities. And what makes it really important from an EB1A perspective is that the reputation of the organization could be so excellent that they would only trust an individual who is at the highest level of their field to do the task that has been, or to undertake the task that has been delivered. So it's really important, where you're at a Google or a Tesla or a Meta or just a major technology company, um, make sure that before things go in a different direction or before you jump ship, essentially, you consult with an attorney regarding your self petition options, because there is so much value in the employer provided data or evidence that you can leverage for the approval of your case. And when you're able to demonstrate that your performance is significant to the outcome of that organization's activities, even if it was in the past, or you're able to sort of collect and receive and hold that documentation, evidence, and testimony, it's like money in the bank. It's only going to grow in value. It's not going to become less valuable as time goes on. So it's really, really important for you to capture that and make sure that if you suspect things are going in a certain direction, that we are able to, basically capture everything that we can while you're still there. It does make a big difference. I've seen it time and time again where somebody has, left an organization maybe after being there for a number of years, and then, they reach out to their former colleagues or managers or, leadership, and find that, their requests are falling on deaf ears. On the other hand, if somebody's like accessible to you, you're dealing with them on a daily basis, and they're going to have other sorts of needs that they need to address with you, or maybe you're helping them in some way and they know that they're going to have to rely on you for something, then they're going to be a lot more receptive to the kind of requests that you make. So in this environment, in the situation of uncertainty, we really need to make sure that you're doing everything possible, because frankly speaking, we're going through a massive change in not just from an economic or even a political perspective, but just from a sort of technological and societal perspective, that the role of people in organizations is not going to be what it was 5 or 10 or especially 15 years ago. So if you've been involved in sort of technology development, engineering for the past decade, a decade and a half, or even longer, then you really need to make sure that you are doing everything that you can to open up the opportunity for a self petition and not depend on that employer, because the next 5 or so years, even the next 1 or 2 years, will not be what the past 2 years were. So it's really, really important to kind of take that initiative and put together a skilled petition that's based on that important documented evidence. And I'll just pull up really quick some just contact information and details for you to understand that. Look, what we're doing is specifically helping those highly skilled individuals who are able to find a way to work with a firm that will take a uniquely tailored approach. If the concept that you're depending on your company's attorneys to assess your EB1A potential is the sort of methodology that you're using to consider whether or not you qualify, that is a huge blunder. It's not a question of do you qualify? It's a question of can you qualify, first of all. So, understanding that, am I in a class of individuals who can qualify, is the first part of this. And the next is that you are able to sort of connect with somebody who's able to unlock those opportunities that maybe are not readily available at first glance. So I would definitely ask everybody, to visit silmilaw.com, schedule a consultation, work with us to really address the crisis that is sort of happening and it's happening to the most intelligent, the most advanced, the most reliable, and highly skilled individuals. And we really need to make sure that they're able to take advantage of the opportunities that do exist while they exist, and put themselves in a better place so that you can protect your interests and your family's interests. And I hope everybody is doing well, and that this information is helpful for you guys. So do take care, and we'll be back soon.